Welcome back to High Stakes. Today, we will be discussing the following NCAAF matches that is happening on Friday, September 29th, 2023. We will be providing our team, total, and prop picks for the day. Before we get started, please remember to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our videos. If you want access to our premium picks, you can check out our Patreon page. You can find the link to our Patreon page in the description and comment section below. Louisiana Tech versus UTEP. Take Louisiana Tech to cover. Louisiana Tech is 2-3 this season. The Bulldogs have secured wins over Florida International and Northwestern State. Their 3 losses have come at the hands of SMU and North Texas by 3 points. In their last game, Louisiana Tech lost 28-14 to Nebraska on the road on Saturday, September 23rd. The Bulldogs kept the game close as they were tied 7-7 with Nebraska at halftime. But the Huskers were able to open things up in the second half and avoid the upset. Louisiana Tech's Jacob Fields rushed in for a 14-yard touchdown in the second quarter. Fields rushed for 28 total yards on 6 carries as the Bulldogs' offense is predicated on the passing game. Quarterback Jack Turner threw for 292 yards on 27 for 42. He threw a late touchdown in the fourth quarter to Cyrus Allen. Turner also threw an interception in the game, too. Allen led the team with 102 yards on 6 catches. Louisiana Tech struggled on third down in the game against Nebraska as they went 3-for-12 on third down. Turner, a sophomore, has completed 66% of his passes this season. He has thrown 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Turner has replaced Hank Bachmeier, who suffered a shoulder injury earlier in the season. It is unclear if Bachmeier will play as of Wednesday morning. On defense, Louisiana Tech Miles Hurd leads the team with 50 tackles. Deshaun Hall Jr. has 2 sacks this season, too. That mark leads the team in the sacks department. 4 different players have recorded an interception this season. The Bulldogs are scoring 27.6 points per game, which ranks 79th. They are averaging 238 yards per game through the passing game, which ranks 67th. Louisiana Tech is averaging 154 yards on the ground, which places them 70th. On defense, the Bulldogs are giving up 28.8 points per game, which ranks 101st. They are allowing 226 yards on the ground per game, which ranks 129th. The Bulldogs are the 13th best passing defense as their opponents are averaging 162 yards per game. Louisiana Tech is 2-3 against the spread this season. They are 1-1 against the spread during road games. The Bulldogs are 1-2 against the spread this season when they are underdogs. The under is 3-2 this season in games that featured Louisiana Tech. The Miners have had a challenging season in college football, with their sole victory coming against an FCS team. Their offense has been plagued by a high number of turnovers, particularly with their starting quarterback, Hardison, completing less than 60% of his passes and throwing more interceptions than touchdowns this season. While UTEP relies on their running game, which is ranked 79th in the sport, they have struggled to put points on the board, averaging around 17 per game. On the other hand, Louisiana Tech may have faced difficulties in stopping the run, but their secondary is a strong point, ranking within the top 20 in passing defense. They are well equipped to contain UTEP, provided they can prevent significant rushing plays. Moreover, the Bulldogs have demonstrated their ability to score, averaging just under 30 points per game. Their balanced offense, which incorporates both the running and passing game effectively, makes them a formidable force. Regardless of who starts at quarterback for Louisiana Tech, it appears that the Bulldogs will hold the advantage in this matchup. Their solid defense and ability to move the ball effectively on offense make them the likely favorites in this game against the struggling Miners. Also take under 53 points. UTEP is 1-4 to start the season. They have struggled, but their schedule has not been easy. They have lost games to conference foe Jacksonville State, Northwestern, Arizona, and UNLV. The Miners' only win of the season has come against FCS Incarnate Word in their Week 2 matchup. In their last game, UTEP lost 45-28 at home to UNLV on Saturday, September 23rd. The Miners never led in the game, but it was tied on 2 different occasions. The Rebels were able to score 17 points in the fourth quarter to give them some breathing room against UTEP. Gavin Hardison passed for 225 yards on 14 for 31 passing. He struggled in the game as he threw 3 interceptions. The rushing attack was key as Hardison rushed for 2 touchdowns from close proximity. Running back Torrance Burgess Jr. ended with 99 yards on 19 carries for a touchdown, too. Hardison is completing 56.6% of his passes this season. He has thrown just 5 touchdowns and has been intercepted 7 times. Burgess is averaging 5.3 yards per carry and has added 2 scores for himself. On defense, the Miners are led by Tyrese Knight, who has 66 total tackles. He also leads the team with 2.5 sacks. UTEP's defense has only forced 3 turnovers this season as they have struggled to create extra possessions. The offense for UTEP is scoring 17.4 points per game, which ranks 123rd. The Miners are accumulated 351 yards per game, which ranks 96th. They are the 100th ranked passing yards per game with 205 yards. The rushing attack is averaging 146 yards per game, which ranks 79th. On the defense, UTEP is allowing 403 yards per game, which ranks 101st. The Miners are allowing 29 points per game, which places them 102nd. The team is giving up 201.6 yards on the ground, which ranks 121st in college football. The defense is giving up 201.8 passing yards through the air, which places them 46th. UTEP is 1-4 against the spread this season. The under is 3-2 in games that feature the Miners. The offenses for both teams have struggled to light up a scoreboard this season. They both play a very methodical offense, with the rushing game taking the forefront. I think the total reaching 50 points or more is extremely ambitious. UTEP has averaged just 15 points in their last 3 games, and they scored just 28 against an FCS team in Incarnate Word. The under has 6 times out of a combined 10 games between these 2 teams. I think this is going to be a mistake-filled, low-scoring game on Friday night. Cincinnati versus BYU. Take Cincinnati getting the points. The Bearcats picked up 2 wins to start the season, including a Power 5 victory over Pitt, before dropping their last 2. Their kickoff as a member of the Big 12 wasn't a complete disaster, as they stayed within 2 touchdowns of 16th-ranked Oklahoma. The rushing defense held the Sooners to just 103 yards and 3.0 yards per carry. On the year, they've allowed just 108 yards of rushing per game, the 6th best rush defense in the conference. The passing defense held Oklahoma to just 1 touchdown, but have still allowed 8 TDs to be scored by air against them this season, tied for most in the Big 12. Safety Byron Threats has been all over the place, recording 18 tackles, a sack, 3 passes defended, and 2 interceptions, tying him for 2nd in the conference in picks. Quarterback Emory Jones threw for 235 yards against the Sooners, the 3rd time this season he has thrown for at least that much yardage. However, it was also the 2nd straight game that the senior did not throw a touchdown and threw 2 interceptions. His 5 interceptions this year are the most by a Big 12 quarterback. Corey Kiner was 6th in the conference, averaging 82 rushing yards per game. The Bearcats enter this week with the 14th best total offense, averaging 488 total yards per game. This particular matchup doesn't boast a storied history, with just 2 prior meetings between these teams. However, as newcomers to the Big 12, this game holds significance as both teams navigate their new conference. Slovis has displayed flashes of excellence this season, demonstrating his ability to sling the ball effectively. Yet, he's also shown a tendency to make mistakes and force plays under pressure. Satterfield, who previously coached at Louisville against Slovis at Pitt, brings valuable insights that give the Bearcats, 2-2 ATS, a distinct advantage. This advantage becomes even more pronounced considering the Cougars' current lack of a potent running game. Moreover, I have confidence in Cincinnati's offense to move the ball effectively against BYU's defense, which may reveal more about its true capabilities in the coming weeks. Although the Cougars, 1-3 ATS, have won both prior meetings between these schools, the last encounter took place in 2016. The dynamics have shifted since then, and it appears that this time around, the Bearcats are poised to change the outcome in their favor. Also take the over. Despite leading at halftime, the Cougars were unable to hold off Kansas and stay undefeated to start their season. Kedon Slovis had a strong game under center, throwing for a season-high 357 yards to go along with 2 touchdowns. The senior QB also threw a season-high 2 interceptions and was sacked 3 times for the second straight week. 3 players have caught 17 or more passes thus far, including tight end Isaac Rex, who leads the team with 26 receiving yards. The team has also seen 7 different players on the receiving end of a Slovis TD pass. They have lacked any semblance of a run game thus far, churning out just 61 yards on the ground per game, the lowest in the conference. The defense allowed 30-plus points for the second straight week and is giving up 21.3 points per game this season, due in part to a season-opening shutout. The Cougars did hold the Jayhawks scoreless in the second quarter last week before allowing 24 second-half points, though 7 came off of a pick 6 less than a minute into the third. The team will need to get more pressure on the opposition quarterback, having registered a Big 12 low 6 sacks. Defensive end Tyler Batty has accounted for 2.5 of those sacks and has also forced and recovered a fumble. Both teams have had the over go 3-1 in their games this season. The BYU defense has certainly helped the cause, allowing 34.5 points per game in their last 2. Cincinnati only saw a total of 26 points scored in their last game, but the Oklahoma defense was extremely tough for them to score on, despite being able to move the ball. Jones will have time to throw and expect him to light it up in an effort to make up for last week's lack of points for the offense. Both teams are looking to get that first Big 12 win, so I'm expecting a bit of a shootout here.